Hello everyone and welcome back to Chaos to Calm Budgets. This is my channel where I am talking to you about my new journey in cash stuffing alongside clearing our debt. We are on a debt management, a debt clear off journey. We're hoping to clear all of our debt within the next 3 years, minus our mortgage. And this is my week 3 review going into week 4. So let's have a look to see where we're up to. Just go into my planner. Now we are being very, very spenny this month. I don't think in my previous months, if we have a look and review, we've not filled those and we're not even at the end of the month, and I'm going to have to go into the next expense tracker page for this month. As you know, I highlight each of my areas for food, fuel, fun, sinking funds and miscellaneous. I have spent this week, I bought the pressure washer. A little bit premature, but it was from Aldi while they had it in the special buys. We decided that we didn't think we needed a fancy pressure washer, and that I knew that, you know, Aldi brands are pretty good. We've had a few things from Aldi, a lot of camping gear previously that's always served us well. So we thought we'd give it a go. And although I have saved some money in a sinking funds for it, I will continue to put each month aside as if I hadn't already spent the money, because as you know, with the special buys, if you don't buy it there and then, it's not going to be there when you're ready for it. So it's gone on the credit card, but we will move my cash from my folder into spent on credit. If you watched last week's, you would have known that I was looking to how I could manage the weekly spends a lot better, and I've decided to go for weekly budgeting as of next month when we get paid. The other things that I have also thought about looking at and making sure to help us stay on track on a week by week budget basis is I will move my Friday food shops, my food shops onto a Friday. My husband gets paid on the last Friday of every month, which would help us then calculate how many Fridays until that next payday. So if I use his payday, because mine's the 28th of every month, unless it falls on like a weekend or a bank holiday and it moves then to the Friday before or the last working day before. So mine will change often, but whereas my husband's is always going to be the last Friday of every month, again, unless his is a bank holiday, falls on a bank holiday. So it's easy then for us to work out how many food shop weeks that we will need, and if we do food and fuel together week by week. So I've moved my last food shop, so I've completed a food shop today. It is Good Friday. I hope everyone's having a lovely bank holiday weekend. So I've moved that food shop to Friday, so that'll be that one for the start of this month there. Gosh, I'll get my words out in a minute. And then as I've started to plan for next month already, and I've written down my food shop there, ready to go, and I've calculated that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm already planning for 5 weeks of food shop, a budget of £150. What I intend to do is withdraw that at the beginning of the month and then give myself £150 in cash every week for food shop. I will physically have the cash, but I will probably use our American Express credit card for the food shop, and then move that money onto a spent on credit envelope and then pay that back in as we go. I've already started to look at what we are wanting to spend money on next month. So we've got a birthday party that we're going to go to. We'll put some money there. I'm going to go and see a local musical, musical theatre group are doing Evita, so we've already bought the tickets. This is just for sort of food and drinks that we might go and do beforehand. My husband really wants to buy a rowing machine, and I'm going to give him a budget of around £70 for that, for a second-hand one. I've got my niece's birthday coming up, another friend's birthday, and my son, I've promised him that we'll go and do clip and climb for during the Easter holiday, so that's going to come, because it's going to be next Friday when we do that. I'm going to take it out of that next month's wage for that. I've already started looking at what the credit cards are at, and also then what our monthly payment is going to be for each of those as well. So yeah, I do have a shortfall because we had to get some extra cash for this month, because we'd had our patio done and there was some additional expense to that wasn't in the original quote that we had to pay out on, so I had to use the cash that was in the joint account. So I am slightly short on what's in the joint account to pay the remainder of the bills. However, it is coming down because, as I will go through, my little boy didn't do some of the football sessions this week, so the money that we put aside for the football is extra cash that I will put aside ready to put towards that deficit as well. So let's have a review then. I will pull out my weekly spends, or the bits, the cash that we save for. So haircut, my husband and my son had his haircut, so I did start with 80. There should be 50 in there now. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Perfect. My daughter does have a haircut next week, so I'll be taking some money out of there for that. So football, my little boy has, so I'll get my pen ready. He didn't do the football. I will just tick it off because it's been and gone. My husband did do football yesterday. That football's been and gone as well. But he used his credit. My husband used his credit for his football. So my son then, he also didn't do one-to-one yesterday, and we've also done the food shop, so that's gone there as well. So what we've got left for this week, as I said, I've got my daughter's haircut there. My son's got 1, 2, 3 football sessions before we start the new month here. So that will be £15 that he will need for that. Let's see how much is in here. 5, 10, 15, 20. So I can put £5 away. I'll put that into spare at the end. My daughter has got 1 more kickboxing session for this month there. So that should have 5 in this one. There, ready to go. Perfect. Nothing for guides. She's all done for this month because we're on the Easter break now. Nothing left in nails. I did put it into my spare cash, and I did put that spare cash from last week into the bank to help cover that deficit. So that's out of there. I'll just pop that in here for now, and then that will go back into the bank, hopefully towards that deficit as well. So that's that one. And then in terms of the sinking funds one, so foam repair remains the same. The pressure washer, that's now been spent on credit, so we'll take that one out and put it into the folder at the back. Vacuum we're still saving towards. Our maintenance is there ready to go. House maintenance, obviously I've already been spending on some of that. Travel money we're saving towards. Holiday for next year saving towards. And our anniversary trip for next year saving towards. Right, spent on credit. Already put some money in there. That can go in there, ready. And then what I will do is, where I have overspent on from the sinking funds for our little bits. So if I show you here, so the home improvement sinking funds, just to finish off the patio in the garden, 166.17. I know that was £50 I'd already saved, and I put that in spent on credit. So what I intend to do is that when we come to next month, I still will put £50 into home improvements, but probably put that straight into spent on credit, basically until that kind of deficit is cleared. The same with the pressure washer there as well. And then what I intend to do is that we will probably continue to build on the home improvement sinking funds, because there are other jobs within the house that we want to focus on. And then the pressure washer, once we've cleared off that deficit and paid that off, we will probably put that money into the new vacuum that we want to purchase when we've got enough money there as well. I've already decided to put in an extra envelope, so I'll probably do that ready for next week off camera. The family entertainment of £50 per month, so that if we wanted to do sort of a cheeky takeaway or go into the cinema or anything like that, we've got a little pot of a fund there to draw from. So that's all there ready to go. And then the only other thing that I've done is put the money into the savings challenge for the £1 challenge. So we'll colour off this one. So that will be, let's go for a pink. All about the pink. That is building up nicely. So if you've seen my previous videos, I've said what I intend to use this fund for is for our year ahead next year. So that will cover things like our house insurance, my husband's car insurance, any sort of other subscriptions that we pay for a year in advance. That will pay for that. So what I will do is just put today's date, which is is it the 17th or the 18th? Let me have a quick look. 18th. I should have just added 7 there. Quick math. 2025 there, so that's paid. And I also said that I wanted to use some of the money to treat myself to a fancy advent calendar at Christmas time. So that should be building up quite nicely year on year. It's going to get harder every week to add to this, because what I am doing at the moment is I'm taking the funds from our weekly spend, so from the food shop and the fuel and things like that. I'm taking it from those little pots to try and stretch myself, so that we can then have it's a challenge basically, so that we're not I'll get my words out in a minute, my brain is just not functioning. We'd stretch ourselves to challenge us to reduce our weekly spends on our food and our fuel and things like that. The other fun things happening this week is my car's getting delivered, and obviously so my fuel expenditure will be less because we're going to be using electric, and we've got a good saver option on our electricity supplier. The only other changes as well ready for next month that I've already started planning for. So I decided to up they wanted to do it anyway. I've slightly adjusted it to be slightly lower for our gas and electricity. It was £200. I've now put it up to 250. I'm just going to keep an eye on it. I don't think we're going to need to have the 250 as our set amount every month. Maybe we will, given that I'm going to be charging my car. I'm not sure. I'm going to keep an eye on it. What frustrates me is that the gas and electricity company like you to go into a build-up of money ready for when you go into the winter. My argument is we moved into this house in the October, so we were already going into the winter months, so we were already going to likely go into a deficit, but it does even itself out by the time we get to the following October. So why is it, if we're spreading out our cost over the year, why is it that I've then got to build that up and pay more because they like us not to be in the minus figure, as long as it's even itself out over the 12 months? I hazard a guess, I think they just like to have the money there, because if they got the money, they have it and they are building the interest on it. I think Martin Lewis shares that view as well. So so I have upped it because I do feel that we are slightly under. I don't think we're going to quite get to the 0 point by the time we hit October, so I am going to up it and see how that goes. I still haven't put my water rate in there, but what I have done is I already put it onto an aim for next month that I'm going to try and switch to a water meter and just test out whether that is going to be a better option, because it has increased on that direct debit that went out this month by something like £17 for this month, which I don't think is right. I don't know whether that because that's the first month, they charge a little bit more, and then it will be a lesser amount then for the next 7 months, because we only pay our rates over 8 months and we get a 4-month break. So I'm not sure if that's the plan. I still haven't received any bill. I think it's never going to come. I think I'm going to have to chase and ask for a copy. I think it's obviously got lost somewhere along the line. So yeah, we need to sort that out. I've also put in here a new dentist plan here. It's worked out to be £49. That covers for all four of us to have 2 checkups and 2 hygienist appointments a year. And then if myself and my husband need any treatment at all, we also get a 10% discount on any of the treatments as well. We just got so fed up of having an unreliable NHS dentist. The dentist that we were using was 100% NHS, or predominantly NHS, unfortunately, and it was the same dentist I was seeing since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but fair play to him, he retired, but he sold the business off to a corporation. That corporation has taken over that dentist. They've made it all looking very nice and fancy inside, which is all very good for them. However, they've only kept, or they only have one NHS dentist and the rest there are private, so making it even harder for NHS appointments. So our NHS dentist, we would get to the appointment the week before and it was, oh, she's on leave, or oh, she's off poorly, or something or other was coming up, and I couldn't just then rebook the appointment for the following week. The next available appointments were months down the line. So we got to a point where actually our normal 6-monthly checkups were beyond a year and we still hadn't seen the dentist. So I think we bit the bullet and we just said, look, we're going to go private. We can plan for it. We also get a little bit of cover via my husband's work, so if there was any additional treatment on top of the plan that we set up, we can draw from that up to a certain amount as well. So hopefully it's the right thing for us, and we plan for it. But I thought £49 for the 4 of us a month, to have and we had a really good experience as well at this dentist as well. We were taken care of, and I also worried a little bit that they were going to kind of start going down the road of, oh, you need this doing, you need that doing, and no, he was quite happy to say, no, you know, I'm satisfied with that. I'm not going to go and start unsettling things for all of us. And yeah, very, very good with my son as well. As I've mentioned before, my son is autistic, high functioning. He is verbal, but he does struggle with anxiety, particularly around change and things he's not familiar with, and he was excellent with him, made him feel really at ease, and he was very proud of himself. He's got a little wobbly tooth that he needs to keep working on to get out so that it will allow his big teeth to come through. So yeah, he was very, very satisfied with that, and I think that is pretty much everything for this week. Next week will be a big one, because we will be cash stuffing, putting our money into savings and things like that, and we'll also have a review of how we've done overall. I will probably come on camera and embarrassingly share how much overspent we have been this month, but we learn. This is the whole point. It's about learning from this and getting better, and overall we still will be reducing our debt, which is what the aim is. I forgot one more thing. My husband's wage will be going up as well. We don't know. We had his yearly figure of what the pay rise will be. So that will be a bonus. And it was a lot more than what we thought it would be as well. We just need to wait and see what the final figure is for the take-home pay, because obviously we've got to account for national insurance and tax and all of that. So, but my wage will go slightly down, and it will be down for next month anyway, because my pension. So, try and keep a long story short, when I moved jobs, they didn't set up my pension straight away. There was 3 months where they weren't taking a pension contribution from my wage, and because I've got a significant pension where, well, it's 8.5% that I pay, and the company pay match that, so it's an excellent pension, or the employer matches that. It's an excellent pension, and I didn't want to sacrifice those 3 months of pension contributions, so they agreed that they would take a lump sum from my wage when they finally did set it up, but then allow me to pay it back in instalments. But there was 1 month, I thought they were all done and dusted. Well, actually no, I thought there were 1 month still outstanding. Last month's wage was back to where it would normally be and it's settled down, but then I got an email to say that no, they had forgotten to take the last contribution of that, so I'm still gonna I'm gonna see that being less this next month. But as I've explained in my previous videos, what I'm also expecting is some DLA money, and how we've decided to utilise that DLA, because it is a good chunk of money that we're getting for my son. We're putting £200 towards some of his activities that he's doing, particularly his one-to-one football, because they are expensive, but he benefits extremely well from the one-to-one sessions, because he can be himself, and it's with a trainer who is SEN specialist. He works in a specialist school, so he understands his needs and his nuances and whatnot, so they work really, really well for him. So we've praying towards some of that and all the other bits of sort of football that he's doing. Yeah, so, and his swimming, his drumming and all of that. So we're going to take £200. That leaves us with about £200 to kind of play with each month, that we'll either let build up, or if there's something significant that we need to support him with to purchase, then we've got the money there, and I'm going to keep that in a separate account. So we are going to get that, which will be helpful. We've also seen the increase in the child benefit as well. That's come in ready for next month, so I've adjusted that amount. It's not an awful lot, it's a couple of pounds, but still, if we're looking at tracking every penny, I'm putting exact figures down. So yeah, we hopefully by next week we'll have all those figures there, and we can really see kind of what that looks like. I'm not sure as well whether my new lease vehicle deduction will come out of next month's wage or not either, so guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's it from me for this week. I hope you all have a lovely rest of the Easter break, and I will see you next week for the big one. Exciting times. Bye bye now.